I was meant to script this video, just like I script every other one, but I didn't, and so now it's just going to be a whole load of rambling, but stick on, it'll make sense at one point. Hi, my name's Brian, and I just started into university. So if you've watched any of my videos before, you will know that I last year did a foundation year, and I made a big video about that, and that was quite well received, and I will put it in the links down below. But yeah, I did a foundation year, and this year I officially started university, and it's been an eventful couple of weeks. Right now I'm on week four, and I've had 3 weeks before, and this is just about the startup of uni. So ideally I wanted to just talk about my first week, and I will stick with that just because that was the one that I had most questions about anyway. The reason that I had so many questions about first week was just because I had not been through any of the university thing before, so I didn't know, but I had siblings who had been through it, so I would hear snippets of them talking about their kind of last years of uni, from what they remembered most about uni, and then me talking about asking questions about the very first year of uni, which they didn't really have the best recollection of. So it was difficult to know what I should and shouldn't do going in. I knew that going in that they had printed out lecture notes and stuff, and they wrote on those, and that was a good process for them to study and stuff like that. So for first week I was really stressed about that. I was like, oh my gosh, do I have to take in lecture notes? Do I have to print them out? I don't even know how to access them at this point. So I was thinking way more ahead than I should have been, but that was not necessary at all. So the whole first week process was actually pretty good, as I should have expected it to be. It was like going into school in general, when they have that first couple of days and they just teach you about everything in those first couple of days. They explain the whole process to you, how things work, you're learning a new building, all these things, and so it can be really, really helpful to just be in that week. I do know people who weren't in that week but were still able to cope with it, so if you do have a holiday or a family holiday or something that does end up dragging out a little more than necessary, which doesn't usually happen actually if you are an A-level student who is actually getting their results. It was actually people who did foundation years that ended up having that extra gap holiday anyway. But yeah, so if you do end up having a family holiday, don't stress about it, it'll be fine. During that first week, it was pretty standard. It was like the first week of school, where you meet your teachers and you learn about them, and you learn about what the course entitles and stuff. In some of the, admittedly in only one lecture did we actually get fully into the material in the first week, and that was a lecturer who doesn't really do small talk, so it was okay. But other than that, it was just pretty much a whole week of just, this is how the course is divided, this is how many hours you need to be doing outside of this, this is the stuff that you'll be using, these are the textbooks that you should be using. So it was all pretty standard. We got to know that there would be different types of things, so lectures and tutorials and labs and stuff like that, and just throughout the whole week they kept reiterating certain things. There was health and safety and stuff like that, so it was a good week because it helped to know what we were doing properly. First week was pretty standard, we just did the same things. Second week, we then did kind of get into topics a little, but it was still a lot of introduction thing, and there was some leeway again in second week as well, in terms of if you come late, if you get lost, that sort of thing. They are kind of a bit more lenient in second week than they ever will be in third week, because in third week there won't be any leniency. Yeah, in second week we did start learning things. They did help us to access the online materials and to know which ones that we would be needing to print out and which ones we won't. Then they also explained the workouts of tutorials, so how things will be divided up, what basically tutorials are, which are basically they're just they're like lessons, except you go in, there's work online, you complete that work, or as much of that work as you can, and then you go in and have someone talk about it, have a tutor or something. They check over your work and give you more work or help you with the work that you have. Yeah, so it's tutorials and lectures and stuff like that. Admittedly, on week 3, at the end of week 3, we had stuff that was due in, and so there was work and everything, and it did start up really quickly, but it helps. Week 1 and 2 helped because they helped remind me of how little I knew and how much I needed to revise. So that's a big thing that I would say. Over the summer, I thought about it, but I never actually did it, which is a bad thing, and you don't do that. So when you're going into university, it can help to like go over the sort of topics that you will be doing there, just because that way when it starts off, they move quite quickly. They assume that you know a lot of stuff, but they do kind of cover things, but they cover things that would be like, say, A level, but anything below that, so AS or GCSE below, they expect you to know that, so it can help to kind of just revise those things. Even some things in A levels they won't pick up that much, but yeah. So it can help to just revise that stuff. So my main tips would be just revise as much as you can, things that you think will be necessary, and it always helps to do a lot more than less. And you know, just enjoy it, because it is a lighter week. And honestly, at week 4, there's such a high level of work for me at week 4 than there was at week 1 and 2, obviously, because there was barely anything. And so just enjoy that week while it lasts. And it is a week that is supposed to be a more serious freshers week. So it's supposed to be, you're meeting people from your course, you're still getting to know people, so you'll be excused for not knowing how university works in those 2 weeks. But even those 2 weeks, I would say go to the lectures, get yourself into that system. If you're commuting, get to know the quickest routes and stuff like that. Use those 2 weeks and that leniency to build yourself into a good student profile, so that the next couple of weeks when you can't be thinking about revising or the routes to get in or stuff like that, those things shouldn't be anything that's on your agenda majorly by week 3 and 4 and onwards throughout your university life. Anyway, I hope that helped, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe, and if you like the video, make sure to like it. And I will see you very soon, hopefully. Thank you and goodbye.